Okay, anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. Where are you guys from? Where are you from?
I'm from Colorado.
Okay. Okay. Curacao. Okay, excellent. So in Florida, we have a liquor store. That's how I'm going to start my presentation. Okay? We have a liquor store, and it's called Total Wine, right? Now, I don't know that much about wine. I drink a lot. Those that follow me on Instagram will see that every time I fly, I have a picture of a glass of wine, and it says pre-flight. Okay? But I don't know what I'm ordering. So I'll usually just walk into a bar at the airport, and they'll say, what can I get you? I'll say red wine, and they'll list off all these different things that I don't know. I'll say, that one's fine. I don't like to fly that much. I fly a lot, so it really helps. At the store in Total Wine, what they have, if you walk up and down the aisles, they have these little cards, and it will say, Rick's favorite single malt. And it'll explain why. And it'll tell you what the value is. It'll say, this is a really good wine that goes with so-and-so. If you're having a party and this is what you're serving, we recommend this wine. So those cards are listed all over the walls. It's brilliant because people don't like to talk to salespeople anymore, right? As soon as you talk to a salesperson, what happens? You feel like you're getting sold, right? You feel like someone's trying to sell you something just so they can get a commission. It doesn't matter what they sell you. It doesn't matter if you need it. They're just trying to make a sale. So people are kind of paranoid or petrified of talking to that salesperson because they don't want to get bullied into buying something that they don't really want. Have you ever walked out of a mall, walking in the mall, you get into your car, and you open up that bag and you say, you know, I didn't really want this. I don't know how it happened, but now I have this thing. So what we want to do is we want to find new ways to talk to today's consumers because the consumer out there today has a completely different way of communicating with their vendor, whether it's a dive store, whether it's with a liquor store. And what I want to do is I want to basically provide you with some tips. And if you have some tips that you want to share with the rest of the group, I'd love to hear them. So one thing that is extremely curious that happens today, essentially, is a stat. And that's 81% of potential consumers perform online research about products and services. Why is this important? Why is this important?
The more knowledgeable about what it is.
The more knowledgeable, right? Someone walks into a store, they pretty much already know what they want. They say, look, I don't want to be sold. They want to buy, but they don't want to be sold. But I want this thing. How much is it? What's your warranty? Give me some kind of specifics. But I don't want all the hoopla. I don't want the BS associated with it. I do it. I go online. I read reviews. I read the negative reviews. I find out how the vendor responds to those reviews, right? So why is this important? Because this is what everyone's doing today, right? This is how people essentially communicate. They're online, they're doing their thing. Everyone's got their mobile device. This is how we have phones, and we don't even use them to talk. We use them to text, right? So one of the most effective ways to communicate with customers is essentially through social media. And it's taken this industry, unfortunately, a really, really long time to embrace it. I'm a big fan of the Beneath the Sea show in Secaucus, but 2 years ago, they announced, we're on Twitter. Like it's an awesome thing that they're on Twitter. That's like an announcement that needed to be made 5, 6 years ago. Okay? So it just goes to show a little bit how far behind we are with the whole social media thing. People were really kind of against it. I mean, I'd walk into dive stores and say, look, are you doing Facebook? Oh, no, I sell postcards, put them in the mail, phone book ads, radio. So there are a lot of different platforms for social media. I'm not telling you you need to embrace them all. What you need to do is primarily focus on 2 of them and then just kind of own them. Do really well. But the thing is, you need to also invest on it, right? So what's happening now is a lot of people say, well, we just hired this 18-year-old kid. He has an Instagram account. We're going to put him in charge of social media. No. You need to make sure that you are measuring the metrics and how useful it is. That way, when you're writing articles or when you're finding your leads, you're able to measure it. You're able to see what works, where you're wasting your time, you're not wasting time. Facebook's ads are really good. Are you doing Facebook ads? What's so great about Facebook ads? Okay. So with geo-targeting, you can pretty much say, I want to look for females, middle age, that have kids, that enjoy skiing. You can do that with geo-targeting. Does anyone here not do Facebook ads right now? You do not do Facebook ads? You do Google ads? How's that working for you?
Awesome. Almost everybody Googles us.
Okay.
And come up #1. So.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's really important, is that brings your SEO up, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there are many different ways to create these ads, and like I said, with Google, can you also do that geo-targeting? Okay. So it's really important. You know, you have a specific course and you really want to target a certain audience, you're able to do that. If you don't know how to do that, and you want to learn more about that, please talk to Darren Pace, our marketing director at our booth. Just say, look, I heard about this in Chris's presentation. Please tell me more. I want to learn how to do this. Okay? But it's a really great way to target that specific audience rather than wasting money and hitting everybody. So another great thing about social media is you get people to follow you, and you get people to like your stuff and share it. Why is this important? It boosts your ratings. Here's the thing about businesses on Facebook. Only about 2% of people will actually see the organic posts that are on Facebook from a business. Do you guys know that?
I mean, I found it out it was terrible that I found it out that way, but yeah.
It's horrible, right? So you're investing all these time creating cool ads or creating cool posts, and because it's a business, only about 2% of the people will see it unless you put some money behind it. So a really great way to share that is to make sure that your customers are liking it, they're commenting on it, and they're the ones that are sharing it. Okay? Let them sell for you. But social media is a very powerful tool if you're using it the right way. So I'm going to tell you a little story real quick. I had a very large dive center in Mexico, and this is a few years back. And I told them, are you guys doing Facebook? Yeah, we're doing a little bit, but you know, we're not sure how to use it right. And I told them this story. I don't have kids. I had a dog, all right? And we went to this hotel for dogs because my wife and I were traveling, and we're going to leave our baby for the first time. And we knew the owners, and the owners told us, look, she'll be fine. She was just ready to go there and play with the other dogs. She'll be fine. Like us on Facebook, and we'll post a picture every day, okay? So we go to South America, and we're on our phones every day looking for that picture, right? And those pictures sucked. I mean, they were horrible pictures. Pictures of the butt. You know, the head was moving, so it was all blurry. But what did? We felt the need to share them. All my friends have to see this crappy picture of my dog. And what this company did was they actually put all their contact information. They put their address, hotel for dogs, blah, 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 and you know. So we're now marketing for them. So I went down to Mexico. I told this large account, you need to do something similar. Okay? And keep in mind, this is several years back. But it just reinforces the importance of doing it right. And I explained to them that this is the new thing. This is how marketing and advertising is happening. And I went back 6 months later and I said, so how's it going? You know, how's this working out for you? And they say, well, you know, not so good, Chris. We hired a photographer even to help us with a social media thing, and you know, it's just we don't see any results. And I said, what are you doing? Let me see what you're doing. So this is what they're doing. Okay, this is a facility that does about 100 scuba discoveries a day. Okay, and what they do is they take everyone out on the boat, 6, 7 in the morning, and then they bring them back in the boat. And as they get off the boat, they line them up against the wall with a big flag and their logo on it and take a mug shot. These people all look like shit. Their hair's all over the place. You know, they've got the mask ring around their nose. They didn't have sunglasses, so they look, you know, a little bit like Donald Trump, where they're orange here and white right here in the eyes. I mean, they looked really, really, really bad. They looked like they were ready to take a nap. They did not look like they were having fun. They might have had a great time, but now they're done. And now they're saying, hey, go ahead and like us on Facebook and share it. Who's going to share that? It's horrible. So you have to make sure that you're creating a type of social media where people are saying, this is something I want my friends to see, so that my friends can see how awesome my life is, right? That's essentially what it is. Who does email blasts? How often do you do your email blasts?
Probably once a month.
Once a month, okay.
So we get more than
Sure. Sure. Email blasts? Newsletters? Twice a month. Email? Do you guys do email blasts? Barely?
Newsletters.
Newsletters through email, right?
Yeah, we have like 4 different newsletters.
Okay. What's one of the biggest dangers that you can find yourself if you're doing too much of those email blasts? That's what they think, yeah, they block you. They think you're spamming them, right? Especially if you're not showing any value and if you're making sales pitches. They're like, this information is not relevant to me. So, and then the next step is obviously they'll go ahead and say, I'm done, I don't need to know any information because there's no value to the content that they're giving me. All they want me to do is buy something from them. Anyone write articles? Yeah, so blogging is such a millennial term, right? But essentially what it means is that it's writing good content. Why do you write good content?
Interesting, people interested in diving in, then they'll, a lot of times I'll get messages asking me for more information.
Okay,
drives more, I mean, you look at your hits.
yeah,
You want to read these more than an email or something because it's not so intrusive.
sure. Do you guys write?
Yeah, it helps our organic search.
Okay, it helps your organic search, right? So when you write these things, basically you're becoming a thought leader, right? You see right now on a lot of the cards it says influencer. That's, I think, the first time we used this term at DEMA, right? I don't think I've seen it before. Was it there last year? Or? No, first year. And it's not a new term. You know, again, showing how far behind this industry is compared to the rest of the world. I went to a content marketing meeting in Cleveland a few months ago. And it was all about influencers, all about it. I mean, almost every single seminar talked about being an influencer. And essentially what that is you being the go-to person. No sales pitch, no BS. They ask you a question, give them the answer. Why is this regulator better than the other? And that's the time where you got to decide, am I going to work on upselling the better one because of the money, because I'm going to make more? Or just be honest with this person. Say, look, what are you looking for? You know, ask the question. So by doing this, it's really easy to gain that respect. You can lose respect in 3 seconds, but you've got to earn that respect every single day. So while you're being this thought leader, make sure that you reciprocate with the people that are engaging with you. It's not all about you. You know, unfortunately, there are too many people that consider themselves thought leaders in this industry, as there's ego. This has got to be one of the industries with the biggest ego. It's all about me. I've done that, I've gone this deep, I dive this amount of rebreathers. It's a big turnoff. Turns people away. You have someone who's just getting started in this sport, and that's, unfortunately, the majority of the thought leaders in this industry. I don't want to be a part of that. I'm going to find another sport where people are friendly, where people are awesome to me, where people want to mentor me into being a better diver, right? So you've got to give back. If someone's liking your post and someone's commenting on your post, answer them. Hey, thanks for that. That's really great. That's fantastic. Like their stuff too. You know, they're taking the time to promote you. Acknowledge that. You know, it really goes a long way. So have a great website. This is still something that really bugs the crap out of me, and it's when we are looking at the websites, and I don't know if you know this, but one of the services that we offer is a website audit, okay? You pay your facility fee with us. People say, what do I get out of that? Well, one of those things is a website audit, where our marketing department will actually look at your website, and they'll tell you what is wrong with it, what you can do better. The reason why this is so important is because Google changes their algorithm whenever they feel like it's getting out of control. Someone's found a way to beat the system, and the pages that should really be ranked are not being ranked for whatever reason. It could be because someone figured out how to use taglines. Right? So SEO is really important. Make sure it's fast. People don't spend more than 5 seconds on a website. If it takes too long to load, they're done. make sure it's easy to navigate. Who was around when we launched our redesign for the website like 6, 7 years ago? I'm surprised we're still in business. But it was a tough time, right? And then we brought Darren on board, and he looked at it, he tore it apart. He's like, this is not user-friendly. But to all the propeller heads in our company, they said, no, this makes perfect sense. I'm like, you just see zeros, ones, zeros, ones. Make it mobile-friendly. It depends who you talk to, but when you look at stats, it can be anywhere from 20% to 50%. And a lot of it is going to depend on the industry and what they're looking for, are doing searches on your phone. Nobody wants to look at their phone and have to scroll all the way across to read anything. So make sure your website is mobile friendly. Please take advantage of the services that Darren has and the marketing team has to look at your SEO. It really doesn't matter if you do a lot of business with us or a little bit of business. If you've got our competitors' logos splattered all over there, it doesn't matter to us. We'll help you because that's just kind of what we do. It's better for the industry, right? But take the time. Have them do that website audit. Even if you're paying someone thousands of dollars to do that, at least you have a sheet that you can say, what are you doing this? It keeps them honest. Because a lot of people do spend thousands of dollars for this service. You don't need those things. I still see a lot of websites that have those things. If you have those things, take them off. If you have a website where when you go on it and you change pages, sounds of bubbles come up, get rid of those. That slows it down, okay? They were really cool in 1996. Not cool anymore, okay? So the SEO, we talked about the SEO and the importance of the SEO. Why is that so important? Who does not know what SEO here is? Search engine optimization, right? The importance behind it is we want you to be found. No one goes to the second page anymore when they're Googling something, right? I mean, when you're searching for something, you rarely go beyond page 1. Right? Yeah. So we want to make sure that you are on page 1. We want to make sure that you are exposed. We want to make sure that if someone puts scuba diving in Ohio, you show up. So what are you going to write about? What are people writing about? Talk to your staff. Find out what questions are coming in when people call on the phone. What are the questions that people are asking when they walk in through the door? Those are the ones you're going to answer. Okay, everyone usually thinks, oh, I'm going to write an awesome article, and it's going to be about diving rebreathers. That's a really fantastic article, but that's probably like 1.001% of people that are interested in that. Make it about fins. Make it about snorkeling. Grab those people that are interested in snorkeling. There's a lot more people that are interested in snorkeling than scuba diving, right? And then drag those people in. We just did a video series, you might have seen it, and it was about mask selection, fin selection, and I think snorkel selection is one coming out. Use those videos if you want. They're yours to use. They're on YouTube. We don't charge you to use them. Put them on your website if you want. I have one dive center that just has them on a monitor just scrolling. But those are the type of things that people are asking. What are those simple questions? Because no one's really answering those online anymore, right? They're really getting into the really complex articles and detailed things and really just attracting a very small market. So don't make it a sales pitch. The moment you write content and someone thinks that they're being sold, stop reading. No one wants to be sold. They're reading this because they want value, they want some kind of information, so show the value. This is why you should dive into Galapagos, because these are all the cool things that's going to happen. This is why we as a store prefer this brand, because of all the awesome things. Show the benefits of them, don't talk about the features, right? I did a presentation early in the year about how to sell benefits instead of features, and the idea really came from Apple. You remember when Apple first came out with their iPod? And rather than saying, this thing here has 24 gigs, what do they say? Does anyone remember the ad? 10,000 songs in your pocket. I can relate to that, right? Oh, 24 gigs, what do I do with that? 10,000 songs in my pocket. Man, now next time I travel to LAX from Florida, 6-hour flight, I can hear my whole Beatles collection. So make sure when you're giving those messages, you're showing that value. You're showing the benefits. Don't talk about the features. This is a black presenter with several buttons on it. That's great. How does it benefit me? Well, I get to walk around, stand here, and do this. You know, talk about those benefits. Don't talk about those features. Answer the common questions. As we said, be entertaining. So here's the thing, right? You have to be entertaining, but you also have to be original, because all this stuff that I'm telling you is not new. I'm not giving you any groundbreaking information. It might be groundbreaking a little bit in our industry, because it's our industry, but this is how people are doing business right now. So make sure that you're original, because if you're going to put together an article, there's probably someone else already doing it. Make sure you make it fun. Show that value. Make sure people are coming back to you because they want to read from you. That trust is already there in place. So how do you generate that into dollars? How do you turn that into dollars? And I guess this is why most of you are actually sitting here. But what you want to do is you want to grab those strangers. You want to blog. You want to write something. You want to have fun content on Facebook, right? And then you want to turn those strangers into visitors. You've caught their attention. Now they're going onto your site. It could have been because it was a fantastic article on diving in the Galapagos. Or it could have been because of a post of some of your friends having a great time and mentioning you. But now they're on your site. And on your site, you can have a landing page. Keep it simple, because the moment you start asking for too much information, people are like, oh, I'm going to get that spam, right? So you have to want them to give some information. You like the article about Galapagos? We're going there in 6 months. Find out more. Keep it simple. Or invite them into the store, right? So now it's a lead. It's no longer a visitor. You now have a lead. Now it's up to you to basically try to close it. But you're not going to have to do a lot of work. Why is that? They've done the research, right? They've done the research. Eventually, you guys do your thing, your charm, you show them value. They're your customer. After they become your customer, and here's the best part about it, you turn them into your promoters, right? They're now the ones that are out there selling for you. Why? Because no one cares about what the sales guy says. If I come up to you, what was your name again? Ruth, and I say, listen, I'm a chef at an Italian restaurant. I make the best pasta. You're going to say, okay. But if I come up to you and I say, man, I just had the best pasta down the street. It's awesome. They make some great, great food, and the wine's not too bad either. I don't know much about wine, but the wine's pretty good. You're going to say, yeah, I'm gonna listen to Chris, right? So a customer always becomes the best salesperson because they're not selling. They're sharing experiences. They're telling you, you need to go and do this. You need to go and buy that. He's not getting commission. He's not getting any money. He's just being a friend, sharing his awesome experience, wanting you to have that same awesome experience. Yeah, here we go, Mr. Sales Guy, which is me. I'm working myself out of a job is what I'm doing. Happy customers are going to bring in the dough. So you got to make sure that you are essentially making these customers like your stuff, share your stuff. But recognize that they're doing that, you know. Give something back. So this is really important. As I mentioned, it's writing articles, putting posts on Facebook, whether you're paying for them, whether they're organic. It takes time. I cannot emphasize enough, you don't want to just say, hey, look, you have an Instagram account. That's great. You're 18 years old. You know how to speak with millennials. I'm going to put you in charge of the social media for my whole store. Don't do that. Please learn about it a little bit. Invest some time in it. Understand that how the buyer-seller process works in 2017. This is it. It's not people walking into your store and say, tell me about scuba diving. That's not going to happen anymore. It's not about radio ads. It's not about blasting emails that say, buy from me because I'm $99, which please don't ever do. I just wrote an article a couple weeks ago about don't discount. You don't have to discount. Show the value to the customer, okay? But you got to measure what you're doing because otherwise it's a big waste of time. You got to find out what works, what doesn't work. What do you do to measure? Yeah, well, not value, but what you're doing. Like, how do you know if what you're doing is working? Google Analytics, okay.
Yeah, just look at, okay, how many people actually looked at it, liked it, and then compared to what the sales were from that event or whatever it was.
Okay. Does someone here use like CRMs or like Salesforce or HubSpot? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. How do you use that then?
We use it for all of our call to action.
Okay.
And we follow up and call people and talk.
Okay. Good. Do that. You have to do that. You cannot let these contents and posts and pictures just hope that it's going to generate into leads. It's not going to. It's nice, but if the content doesn't have value and they're all sales pitches, people are going to just scroll right through it. Okay? So again, why it's important to understand that 81% of these customers are all already doing research and online. You need to make sure that information is out there. You need to make sure that that information is coming from you. That way, when someone walks into a store, it's yours to lose. Don't screw it up, right? So, basically what we talked about, embrace social media. You have to do this. You have to do it the right way. You have to make sure that you're showing content. You have to make sure that you're showing people having fun. And you have to tell your customers, look, share it and like it. But give them a reason to. Have an open water class. Make sure you put pictures of them, right? Email blasts and newsletters, they're fantastic. Once every month is great. Don't overdo it. Don't spam them. They will easily unsubscribe. And don't make it difficult to unsubscribe either, because that just makes it even more infuriating. Next time they see something from you, they're like, I'm staying away from this because that experience of just getting rid of their emails was horrific. So you can use those email blasts, make sure the content is good, and make sure it has value.
We made like 4 different newsletters, so people could subscribe just to the newsletter of the stuff they're interested in, like trips or
Sure.
classes, so that they're not getting blasted with information they don't want.
That's an awesome idea. I really like that. I'm actually going to incorporate that in my next presentation on this topic. So we do the same, right? We have a newsletter for ERDI, we have one for TDI, we have one for SDI, and then we have the members newsletter. And we try to do the same thing. And that's basically, this content is relevant to me. I'm not in public safety, so this isn't I can unsubscribe, but I still want to hear some of the other stuff. Put content on your site. Drive people to your site because you're putting relevant information out there. Blog, answer those questions, write articles. Let people know that you're a thought leader. You're an influencer, right? You're there to give information, not to make a sales pitch. Convert traffic into leads, leads into customers, and most importantly, allow those customers to sell for you. If there's anything that you can take away from this, is make sure that your customers are your biggest promoters. They're your biggest fans, and they're the ones going out saying, you need to take classes with this person. You need to take classes with this person. You need to go on this trip with these guys because they're going to take care of you. They've been there a number of times. If you go to Curacao, this is where you need to go. So, measure what works and what doesn't. Don't waste your time. Find out what's working for you. This takes work. This is not something that's just going to happen overnight. You're going to have a certain amount of content that is created until you start seeing some kind of return. So try to measure what works. It's really good if you're using a HubSpot or a Sales Team or some kind of CRM or Google Analytics. Those are all perfect tools to do measuring leads and find out what happens. Darren Pace is right over there, by the way. He can talk to you a little bit more about measuring the metrics and how to get the most out of it. Did you do a presentation on that already, or?
Talked about it briefly, and probably this next hour I've got a little bit more on analytics and each one of the.
Okay. All right. So, questions?
I just have a comment, because I'm stupid about this kind of stuff, but I have somebody that's very good at it.
Okay.
But I didn't know on Facebook that they could send you a message, and then it tracks how long it takes you to answer it. Luckily, my person does, but there may be other people here that don't know that. So, and that they keep track of how fast you answer, so your response time makes you look good. Ours is under an hour.
Sure. So who uses Facebook Messenger? For business? No? Okay, good. So I deal a lot with Latin America, okay? Everyone there does everything through Facebook Messenger. and it's my own private Facebook account. I get all these friend requests, and they're all people that want to talk to me about crossing over, about, hey, I have a question. And I'm like, oh, crap. But it's the culture, right? That's how they communicate for business. I remember about 3 years ago, Brian Carney, the president of the company, came in and he said, all right, I'm not sure what the level is of work rate here, but people need to get off social media at work. And I'm like, Brian, I can't. That's how I communicate with all of Latin America, from Mexico down. That's how people chat with me. He said, all right, Chris, yeah, that's fine. But then Darren took him to this content marketing meeting in Cleveland a year ago, actually the same one that I went to just a few months ago. And Brian comes back and he goes, everyone be on social media. Everyone has to be on Facebook. Use those tools. They're there. People want to communicate. Use them to communicate, right? Don't close them. So it makes me more effective and more productive because I have given my customers another outlet for them to talk to me. So I have Facebook open, and yeah, sure, I look at all the silly presidential stuff going on from both sides. But at the same time, I've got someone from Colombia saying, hey, Chris, we need to blah, 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 and she's taken care of right then and there. Going back to your point, though, response time is key. And I actually have a presentation tomorrow on customer service, and we talk a lot about response time and how to retain those customers just based on response. Any other questions, comments that you might want to share with the rest of the group on what works?